Let me start with something honest. Right now, somewhere in this world, someone is lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, doing math they'll never admit out loud. Not money math, life math.
I'm 27.
I thought I'd be further by now.
I'm 34.
Everyone's married. I'm still figuring out who I am. Is this it? Is this the whole thing? If that's ever been you, even once, I want you to hear this. You are not behind. You are just not on the timeline you invented when you were 19 and knew nothing about life. That timeline was written by a version of you who had never been heartbroken, never been laid off, never sat in a hospital hallway, never had to rebuild from zero. That version of you was guessing. And you've been punishing yourself for missing a deadline set by someone who didn't know what they were talking about. Let that go. Right now. Just set it down. Part 1: The Ordinary Days. Here's what nobody tells you about a meaningful life. It doesn't feel meaningful while you're living it. Feels like Tuesday. Feels like traffic. It feels like reheating the same leftovers, answering the same emails, having the same argument about whose turn it is to take out the trash. We're waiting for the montage, you know the one. Music swells, we transform, we arrive. But real life doesn't come with a soundtrack. It comes with a grocery list. Your life isn't happening after the hard part. The hard part is the life. And it's still yours, and it's still worth showing up for. Think about the last 5 years. Ask yourself, which moment actually changed things? I'll bet it wasn't a dramatic one. It was a small, boring, unwitnessed decision. The day you finally sent the message. The day you stopped drinking alone. The day you said no to someone you'd never said no to before. The day you got up at 6 a.m. for no reason except that you told yourself you would. Nobody clapped. Nobody posted about it. Nobody knew. The most important work of your life will be done in rooms where no one is watching. Part 2: The Comparison Trap. Can we talk about the phone for a second? Every day you hold a device that shows you the highlight reel of 8 billion people, and then you wonder why you feel small. Of course you feel small. You're comparing your Tuesday to someone's best day of the decade. You're watching a wedding and forgetting there were 3 years of therapy behind it. You're watching a business launch and forgetting there were 2 failed ones before it. You're watching a body transformation and forgetting the eating disorder it's hiding. Never compare your behind the scenes to someone else's trailer. They cut out the parts where they cried. And here's the thing that'll set you free if you let it. Someone out there is envying the exact life you're currently complaining about. The job you find boring, someone is praying for that stability. The partner who annoys you, someone is eating dinner alone tonight. The body that frustrates you, someone in a hospital bed would trade everything for legs that walk. I'm not saying be grateful instead of ambitious. Be grateful and ambitious. That's the combination almost nobody runs. Part 3: On failing. Let's talk about the thing you failed at. You know the one. It still sits in your chest a little. Maybe it was a business, a relationship, a degree, a version of yourself you couldn't sustain. Here's what I want you to understand. You didn't fail. You collected information at a very high price. The tragedy would be throwing away something you paid that much for. Every person you admire has a graveyard. Every single one. They just don't give tours. The difference between people who make it and people who don't is almost never talent. It's almost never intelligence. It's this: one of them decided that failing was an event, and the other decided it was an identity. An event ends. An identity follows you home. Failure is something that happened to you. It is not something you became. Say that again, slowly, next time you're in the shower replaying the worst thing you ever did. Part 4: The People. Now, the part that matters most. If you strip everything away, the money, the titles, the followers, the plans, what's left is people. That's the whole thing. That's the actual game. And here's the brutal math of it. The people you love have a number of days with you, and that number is finite, and neither of you knows what it is. There will be a last time you call your mother. A last time your kid asks you to sit on the floor and play. A last conversation with your best friend, and you won't know it's the last one because it'll be about something stupid. We treat people like they're permanent and moments like they're plentiful. They are neither. So here's what I'd ask you to do. Today, not someday. Call the person you've been meaning to call. Not text. Call. Say the thing you've been holding. The apology. The I'm proud of you. The I love you. That feels awkward because your family doesn't say that. Say it awkwardly. Awkward and said beats smooth and never. Part 5. Starting again. I know some of you are listening to this at a genuine bottom. Not a metaphor. An actual bottom. Maybe the marriage ended. Maybe the diagnosis came. Maybe you're 40 and starting completely over and it feels humiliating. I want to be careful here, because I'm not going to tell you it's a blessing in disguise. Some things are just hard, and they don't need a silver lining stapled to them. But I will tell you this. You have survived 100% of the days you thought you wouldn't. That's not luck anymore. At some point, that's a track record. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. There's a difference, and it's enormous. And starting over at 40, or 50, or 60 isn't humiliating. Do you know what's humiliating? Getting to the end and realizing you stayed somewhere miserable because you were worried about what people would say. People who, by the way, were thinking about themselves the entire time. The time will pass anyway. 5 years from now will arrive whether you start or not. The only question is who's standing there when it does. Closing. Slow down here. So let me leave you with this. You're going to have an ordinary week. Most weeks are. You'll wake up tired, you'll do things you don't feel like doing, you'll scroll too long, you'll eat something you regret, you'll be a little short with someone you love. That's fine. That's human. That's all of us. But somewhere in that ordinary week, you'll get a small window. A moment where you can choose the harder, better thing. Where you can be patient instead of sharp. Where you can start instead of scroll. Where you can forgive someone, including yourself. Those moments are the entire life. Not the big ones. Greatness isn't a mountain you climb once. It's a decision you make about 400 times, mostly on days that don't feel special at all. So don't try to fix your whole life tonight. You can't, and the pressure will freeze you. Just fix the next hour. Drink the water. Take the walk. Send the message. Go to bed instead of doom scrolling. Do one honest thing. Then wake up and do it again. That's it. That's the whole secret. It's not sexy and it doesn't fit on a poster, but it's true, and true is better. You don't need a new life. You need a new next hour. Start there. The rest follows. You've got this. Not because it's easy, because you've done hard things before and you're still here. Now go. Approximate. Runtime. 9 to 11 minutes at a natural speaking pace with pauses. Want me to adapt this for a specific audience, students, entrepreneurs, athletes, a graduation, or a voiceover script with music cues?